Introducing Amanita Mushrooms, the shroom you've never heard of, but that's mostly legal. Hey, I'm Morgan Davis. I'm a cannabis attorney in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's talk about how to keep your business protected and thriving. So, interesting lately, cannabis isn't the only plant medicine or naturally derived substance that's scheduled, but is having a revolution. We talk a lot about cannabis. It's what I focus in, but there are others. For example, Psilocybin and Ayahuasca. There's a revolution going on right now where a lot of people, for various reasons, believe that these naturally derived substances, which are all Schedule 1s, just like cannabis, should be rescheduled or descheduled entirely. Psilocybin, or magic mushrooms, as most of us are well aware or call them, or shrooms, is a psychoactive substance that is derived from a certain type of mushroom. There are about, I think, 200 different types that include psilocybin that can create a hallucinogenic effect. They are a Schedule 1 controlled substance, which means according to the DEA, they're highly addictive and have no recognized medical use. There are lots of medical professionals who are starting to disagree with the DEA's classification of psilocybin. It's been shown in several studies that have been official studies and unofficial studies. It's useful in the treatment of PTSD, stress, anxiety. Now, none of those have then gone far enough to create a pharmaceutical application that is approved by the FDA. But we're certainly moving in that direction. The biggest push is from the medical profession is to move psilocybin from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3. Very similar to the current push by the Biden administration to move cannabis from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3. For the same reasons, there are recognized medical applications. Similarly, many religious practitioners use psilocybin or incorporate psilocybin in their religious practice. Now, there are schools of thought that differ on this, but that should be protected under the First Amendment Free Exercise Clause. Plenty of Supreme Court cases in the past couple of years that support the idea that the use of a controlled substance like psilocybin or ayahuasca, DMT, peyote should be protected for legitimate religious practitioners. It's a whole different topic for a different day, but you should understand that those things are occurring at the same time. So while you have a huge influx of interest in the spiritual communities in using entheogens like psilocybin, like ayahuasca, and a push even from the medical side that things like psilocybin and MDMA have a medically recognized application, there's just a general boost in the desire and use of psilocybin and other entheogenic or plant medicines. That all being said, psilocybin is still a Schedule 1 substance. It's illegal. There are some places that have decriminalized it, but nobody has made it commercially available for sale. So like all things in the cannabis and hemp industry, we find a workaround. We find another way. Enter Amanita mushrooms. Amanita mushrooms are just a different strain of mushrooms that contain different active ingredients, not psilocybin, that are not scheduled. Therefore, they are legal shrooms. They do not produce the same effect as psilocybin, meaning you're not necessarily going to hallucinate or have visuals, but oftentimes are associated with a feeling of delirium or extreme relaxation. You can go to sleep and have very vivid dreams. All of this, by the way, is anecdotal. We're not talking about official studies or representations here. The substances are not controlled. They are not approved by the FDA for addition to products for human consumption, but hey, neither is cannabis or cannabis derivatives. See my video on the FDA's position on CBD, etc. So very similar to where the hemp space finds itself, Amanita mushrooms is kind of in the same vein, though arguably a lot less in the gray area than a lot of our intoxicating hemp products. So more and more people are interested in potentially including Amanita in an existing hemp product line or creating a new product line using Amanita and other adaptogenic mushrooms. As we've discussed before, I love innovation. I'm all about it. I think it's great. Amanita has just come onto the scene in the last year. There are certainly people who are familiar with it. There have been books published about it, but I would say it's probably been in the fringes for a long time and not really in mainstream commercial consumption. It is now becoming widely available, except consumers don't really understand it or know what it is. They don't understand the standards around it. They don't understand that if it's made improperly or consumed in high quantities, which is a sort of unknown quantity, it can be poisonous and potentially deadly. So, here's a warning. If you are a consumer and you are interested in exploring Amanita mushrooms, go do some research. Go talk to your doctor. Go talk to anybody you know who's in the biology chemical field. There are lots of books out there. So there's plenty of information to be had before you buy a product. Then do your research on the products and look for what you would consider to be a reputable seller. If you are a products company who wants to start using Amanita extract to create products for the consumer, I get it. Sometimes you just want to ride the wave of what's exciting and new, and I don't have anything against that, other than when that exciting new thing might injure somebody. So, one, like we talk about with intoxicating hemp products, make sure that your source is a reputable source. Two, make sure that you're educating your consumer. And three, do not mislabel your product. If you put an Amanita mushroom extract in your product, put it on the label. If you put something else in your product, don't claim it's an Amanita extract. That is misleading the consumer. And if somebody gets hurt, it opens you up to both civil and criminal liability. It's not a joke. Don't do it. If you're interested in exploring this new field of legal shrooms, Davis Legal would love to help you talk about the risks and rewards associated with it and help you come up with a plan in case you need to pivot. Give us a call.